All right, let's get to it. Lot to do. 215-592-9494. We'll ask you for your reaction to Sean Mannion being hired. It is maybe the ultimate. Do you trust Lurie, Howie, and Nick moment? Because let's be real, we don't know a ton about this guy. Obviously, we've looked into his background, not just yesterday, but prior to that when we heard about it in the last few days. Do you think it's crazy? Do you think it's smart? Do you think you have no idea, but you want to give Howie, Nick, and Jeffrey the benefit of the doubt? Talk to us. 215-592-9494. John, I thought of you on a bunch of fronts. Talk to me with where your head's at.
Well, you know, I have all these notes that I write down before we start the show.
Yep.
And every day from the last couple weeks, one of the notes that repeats is I am going to be offended, like personally deeply offended, if we hire an offensive coordinator who hasn't called plays.
Yeah, and that part doesn't bother me at all. But go ahead.
I don't know how it can't. The uncertainty that this hire brings is not what we were looking for. I'm troubled. I mean, this is problematic. I am disappointed.
You got a lot of what you want, though. You got a Shanahan-type guy, learn from McVay. You got what's
LaFleur and O'Connell, too.
Yeah, but this shouldn't be a decision where we as a fan base and we as a coaching staff and we as a team, one of the best teams in the world, the team that's supposed to be defending its world championship right now, we shouldn't have to cross our fingers with a hire the way that we are crossing our fingers with Sean Mannion. Look, I hope this guy is the sharpest tool in the shed, and that's what they picked up on the, during their two meetings.
Yep.
I mean, it was a little insulting reading the quote that they put out.
Which one?
From Nick. I'm air quoting
yep.
the Nick Sirianni quote saying, "My goal throughout this process was to operate with an open mind regarding the future of our offense and to find the best fit for the Eagles." I don't think that you did find the best fit for the Eagles, but it's possible that you did find an up-and-comer, and, of course, that's what we all want. I don't want to, poo-poo this before we even see what the guy's got. None of us know what this guy's got. This guy was a coach for essentially a year. He was an offensive quality control guy, and then he was a quarterback's coach for 1 year. The guy's 33 years old. The guy was just playing in the league.
Yep.
So hey, he's got that going for him. He does have his finger on the current NFL, the pulse of the current NFL, so that's very positive. I will say it is exceedingly positive for me that he, in the last year, not just Jordan Love. He coached Jordan Love to some excellent play. He also took Malik Willis and made him look much better than people expected. So his coaching brought two young quarterbacks along this year. I think that says a lot about his ability. Again, I'm not going to look down my nose at this pick because I have no idea what Sean Mannion can do. I wish they wouldn't have pretended, that Nick made the hire, because that does feel insulting to our intelligence.
Sure. Nobody believes it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Why do they keep pretending to do this? I think that, again, I could have done without that. But look, this, regardless of how deceptive that quote is from Nick, this could be a great hire. We just have no idea. I think he's got a great shot. Mannion has a great shot of doing better than we did last year, because last year was, what were we?
Well, it's about as bad as you can do.
19th in scoring and 24th in total offense. Yeah. The amount of talent we have will absolutely give us a better chance to improve upon that.
I mean, yeah, let's be real, guys. We've seen worse Eagles offenses in the past, but we've never seen a worse Eagles offense with that much talent. Yeah. I mean, if you had a ratio of talent to productivity, that'd be about as bottom as it's ever been. Look, we'll ask you your reaction at 215-592-9494, what you make of the Sean Mannion guy. We're going to play audio through the show of Mannion. We have dug up some audio of him speaking in the past, and so we'll present that to you shortly. I'll say this without knowing much, because obviously it's impossible to know the future. And obviously he hasn't been a coach for too long, only 2 years if you don't know. Played through the 2023 season as a backup quarterback in the NFL. Without knowing much, I will tell you I do tend to trust Jeffrey, Howie, and Nick. This is a real moment for that because, it does feel off kilter in a lot of ways. Now, I will say my biggest disappointment, what I said from the outset, and what I was saying even going back to probably November and December when we started talking about the possibility of Petulo gone, I just really thought the old guy that's not going to be poached away thing would have been the way I would have wanted them to go. They obviously were not focused on that, as evidenced by who they were looking to hire. Most of their interviews were younger or middle-ish guys that with success could still get a head coaching job. So they obviously didn't go there. Okay, that's their choice.
Well, the problem is I don't think
that
they were able to get who they wanted to get, period. I don't
know about that. They could have gotten – they probably could have gotten an old head.
So much was made about the fact
head.
that they couldn't even get their top priority in the door.
No, I understand that, but I also think that they are impressed with this guy. Look, in the limited ways I've heard him talk, and we'll play the audio soon, I'm impressed with how I've heard him talk. Now he's got to put it into action. He's got to put it in action as a young guy that's going to be younger than Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
So, you have that element. You have the element that Jalen's been a successful quarterback, and this guy's been a backup quarterback, so you hope that there's no, what do you know, Coach, from Jalen? Hopefully there's not that. But he does come from a background that a lot of people have been calling for a while now. John has been the ringleader of it, which is something from the Shanahan-McVay. And by the way, Eagles went out of their way in their press release last night, or at least what's on the website, to literally write the name Shanahan. They literally said yes. Shanahan.
Calculate it.
Yeah, like this guy's from Shanahan. So, you're probably going to get more of that, at least in an attempt. And then the question is, will it work with Jalen? But I think this is a sign that the Eagles are trying to push the envelope there, which I think is good to try. Now we'll see
it's great to step outside their comfort zone.
Yeah, we'll see if it works. I also am intrigued by the fact that he's so young that if he has success, maybe he doesn't get poached year 1 or 2.
Yeah, I was thinking that he might not be one and done if he
does
well.
I mean, when you got someone in their early to mid-30s, some guys have gotten gigs around that time. McVay, Gruden was pretty freaking young. Shula was very young. But, normally it's later 30s, early 40s, mid-40s. So, and listen, the other thing I'll say is I never heard of Andy Reid before they hired him.
Nobody did.
Never heard of him.
Quarterback's coach from Green Bay.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure we all thought about that yesterday.
Never heard of him. I'm not sure I had heard of Gruden. I can't remember when the Eagles hired him in 95. I don't remember if I knew of him from Green Bay. Probably not. Maybe because they'd been in playoff games, but probably not. Obviously, Doug was about the last person in the world I wanted hired.
Yes.
And Nick was someone I never heard of.
The Eagles pride themselves on that.
Well,
they've
also had success with it.
They have.
So, to me, and again, this is, I guess the main question today is, what do you make of the Sean Mannion hire? But to me, the more interesting question, because it kind of speaks to the heart of all of us not really knowing, okay, let's be real, is do you trust in a moment like this, Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, and to whatever extent you think Nick Sirianni was involved, do you trust him? 215-592-9494. Talk to us. Do you? Let us know. What Sean Mannion has said about his coaching style, his background, we'll get to that. Matter of fact, we'll get to some of that next, and your phone calls on all this. From Borgata. We're going to do a lot on the 016ers reunion tomorrow. That's a real special thing, one of the favorite teams ever in Philly sports. Eagles, we love them. We want them to get it right, did they? Time will tell. What do you make of it right now? You let us know. And the Flyers, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just it's basically free fall. It's basically free fall. And Maxey and Embiid looked incredible last night. Joe DeCamara and Jon Ritchie from Borgata, along with Devan, Rhea, and Seltzer. Your phone calls all show.